Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Deb C, and place to be, it's Deb C. Boop, boop, that's me. Boop, Deb C. Hey guys, and happy Tuesday. I hope everybody is having a wonderful week and had a great day today. From the title, you know that I watched the Women Tell All. So let's get into it. As you can tell, I didn't do any makeup today. I just took my shower. I usually don't wear makeup during the day. This bad boy is going to be with me for a life. It's no longer a blemish, it's no longer acne. It's moved on to just now being like a permanent fixture, a permanent, like scar. So meet my little friend. Adult acne, you gotta love it. Okay, so I poured myself a Diet Coke. This, as you can tell, this was purchased in Christmas, around Christmas. This was the last of a 6-pack, and no more, I'm not gonna buy Coke anymore because no more buy since you rolled back your DEI. So we're gonna enjoy it. We're not gonna throw it out. But c'est la vie, Diet Coke. I would throw it over there, but then Dolly would be like, what are you doing? Throwing stuff. Okay. So I also am wearing a new shirt that I got from new t-shirt that I got at Lane Bryant. And it sums up my thoughts of the Women Tell All and the Women Tell All, because it was garbage. Kind of care, kind of don't. More in the kind of don't. I watched it. I made some notes. I checked out mentally a little bit, so I don't have complete notes. So we're just going to go through, and I'm going to talk about some of the things based on like what I can remember. Okay, Carolina, I have noted here they couldn't make me like you or even love you, Carolina. Reason being is because after she showed her fashion, her jacket that says crazy and evil, she then was like, basically saying it's her show. Like, it's the Carolina show, it's my show. So a little bit later on though, I'm kind of like feeling bad for her. Okay. So, they talked about two of the women who caused drama. Early on, it was Zoe. Now, I thought this was interesting because when Grant stole Zoe, or when Zoe stole Grant on that group date when they were playing basketball with the kids, we thought it was like 5 or 10 minutes that she stole him. She actually stole him. It was more than an hour that they were gone. Serafina apologized for what she said about Zoe's skirt, when it was really short. She apologized. She said she talked to Zoe and they're cool, and she stood up for Zoe, which I liked, because I didn't like the fact that they were talking about Zoe and what she did, and Zoe wasn't there to really defend herself. So I liked that Serafina did that. Carolina talked about when she won that group date and she ended up dancing with Grant on stage and kissing him and everything in front of everybody. She said she didn't think it was like a big deal because by that point everybody had gotten to kiss him, and she thought she was probably the last person that didn't get to kiss him. So that's why she did that. Rose, when Rose told Carolina what Grant said, Rose said that her and Carolina were roommates, and she was asking Rose like, everything that Grant had said. And after that, Rose told her what Grant said, she was like laughing and everything. So she didn't seem to be taking it difficult. And then they asked Carolina about that, and Carolina was like, I'm going to wait until Grant is up here so we can talk about this, because he had a part in it, and I want him to take some accountability on his part for what he said. And one of the ladies, I don't know who it was, she had agreed that it was like the wrong time to bring it up for Carolina to bring it up to Grant, just because it was right before a rose ceremony. I myself thought I understand bringing it up to him because you're a little upset, but like right before a rose ceremony is kind of maybe a little manipulative. But Dina made a good point. She had said to Carolina, so you're mad that Grant went to Rose with what you said, but it was okay for you to go and tell Grant what Rose said. Because Carolina was like, I told him not to say anything. And then he said something. So it's okay for you to say something to him, but it's not okay for him to say something to Rose. And then they focused a little bit more in on Dina and Grant. Dina had said that Grant had asked her, like, what's going on with Carolina? Because other women are complaining to me about her. And she, in that moment, stood up for Carolina. But then the next week in Scotland, she gets played. She gets played by Carolina. And then wasn't Dina like, listen, I don't know why you're complaining. I bought you a week. You should have been going home. And that friendship is done because they're going back and forth on TikTok. Carolina was like, if you want to bury the hatchet, we can bury it. That's not an option. That is not an option right now. Dina don't want to bury it. And it doesn't look like you want to bury it either because you're coming back. Like Dina made a TikTok and then you come back and then she comes back. There's nobody wants to get past this. It's just done. That's just it. Dina was saying that and I don't know about this. I don't know that I'm okay with this, but Dina's saying that, listen, what she did wasn't wrong because what she posted was stuff that the audience is going to see. But then here comes Carolina posting a follow-up saying, well, if you want, I can show all of our texts. Like she was going to release text, which makes me then wonder, like, well, wait, I wouldn't want my text. The only way I wouldn't want my text released is if I said something shitty. So did you say something shitty? And Dina was saying that Carolina just never takes accountability. That's true. She doesn't ever take accountability. And she can dish it out, but she can't take it. Then right at the break, Carolina left and she was crying. Listen, I'm going to tell you, the one thing that I can't stand, and this is something that I'm not a fan of what time is it? The Housewives reunions, is when people just start talking over each other and yelling over each other. At one point, I was like, what are they even saying? And I'm not saying I'm a fan of Carolina. However, it was getting to be a lot. I mean, they were being a little, I mean, when you get Carolina and then Serafina, and they were all piling up on Carolina, I mean, if there's another word that I have to say that ends in Ina, forget it. So, I don't know. I thought it was a little much at one point, and I just kind of checked out. So thank God after the break, they had like one of my favorites in the hot seat, and that was Alex. I loved Alex. She had basically said that it was after she had her one-on-one, it was just kind of hard to catch up to the others after getting that first one-on-one and developing those feelings like so early on. What did her in was like all the drama, the vibes from the drama in Scotland had caught up to her. So, she honestly, Alex was my favorite. And then when they brought out Linda, they're like, we know you met the love of your life and they're here. She knew exactly who it was. And then they brought out Linda the llama. Listen, Linda the llama. Oh, they brought her out, and then she was just talking to her like she was a person. Like I talk to dogs. Like honestly, like how I talk to Jack or how I talk to any dog. I thought it was so sweet. Get rid of Carolina. Keep Linda. Okay, they also had Serafina in the hot seat. I don't know that they had to have so many people in the hot seat. I'm going to tell you one person they should have had in the hot seat, and they didn't. But I'll tell you that after. So Serafina was in hot seat. The reason why she didn't really go in for like a big kiss at first was because her mom was watching. And it turns out her mom was okay with it. And she loves the show now, and she loves Jessie. Jessie's been talking to her, reached out to her, and she sent a taped video message. And they floated the idea of Serafina's mom maybe being on Golden Bachelor. How about it? Why not? Why not do it? Matt James's mother was on it. Kelsey's dad was on it. Have Serafina's mom be on. Here's another thing that made me, and I thought about this last year with Jen Tran. I think it's kind of despicable. I think it's kind of despicable and mean for these producers to make these women sit there, watch their process, their journey of them like coming out of the limo and then falling so hard for this guy, and then having to watch themselves get like their heart broken. And then they have to sit there and talk about the whole thing. It's not kind of terrible. It is terrible, especially last year with Jen, because she had to watch that whole thing right there with him, knowing what happened. Terrible. I'm going to tell you, the best thing about this entire show was them showing the trailer for season 2 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives with Hakeem in the bottom to show his reaction. That was the best part. That was the absolute best part of the whole thing. Okay, so Dina's in the hot seat next. Do you see what I mean? Like, I don't know why they had to have so many people in the hot seat. But Dina's in the hot seat. We found out from her some tea regarding the meeting with her family. He had said that, okay, no tea yet. Cancel the tea. Hold on, cancel the tea. So, about not meeting the family, he had said it didn't matter that he didn't meet them. Remember? But then, or no, he told her, it doesn't matter if I meet them or not. And see, now, honestly, I'm thinking, but I did it though, because he said on TV, he said during the episode that it does. But she was like, but she said, well, why doesn't it matter? It should really matter. Then we find out, listen, it turns out it was Dina's decision not to have her family there because there was a division in the family. Some of the family members are okay with it. Some of them were not. So rather than her family like being so divided and causing maybe a problem, she was like, she made the decision not to have them on. And she said she didn't want to have to convince them that she was ready to get engaged when she wasn't so sure herself. Did anybody else notice that? I noticed that. I heard that. Okay. Carolina is in the hot seat. This is where I kind of started tuning out a little bit. But Carolina's in the hot seat. They were talking about her telling him about the epilepsy. she said she spiraled after telling him about it, and it set her back mentally, that she had opened up, but he didn't. Talking about Rose, she said she feels bad about how this would have felt to Rose. And that Rose wasn't pulling this out of thin air. And because Grant had also said some things to her on the date. How much did the women impact you going home? She said a lot. She said that she never punched down on anyone, and none of the other women took accountability. And then like everybody, like Rose and Dina and others, started to get on her, and there was a lot of back and forth. I didn't care. I was over it by that point. And you'll see when I talk about, then they bring Grant out. Grant, everybody was, how are you doing? And how was it? Oh, and people were like, oh, I'm so grateful that I got to meet you. Thank you. And you showed me that I can love again, and this and that. So, but then I got Dina, and Dina was like, fuck that. If I'm going to do this, let's talk about something. She said she was shocked when she heard that he said not meeting the family was a make or break, because he never told that to her. And he said, well, it's not, he said it wasn't, he says that it wasn't really how much it affected him that he was worried about, but instead how much not having the family there affected her. But now we know she was the one who was like, don't come. If you're going to fight, then just stay home, Here's my very last note. Do you see? My very last note that I typed. His relationship kind of stopped as others progressed. I think that was in reference to Carolina. Like they were going well, and then it kind of like hit a standstill, and everybody else has progressed. And then when did you clock what Carolina said? And then I have no notes, because I was going to go back to it and rewatch it. And then after I got out of the shower, I was like, do you really want to watch it? Do you want to relive that? You'll never get that time back. So I didn't. And I ended up watching some of The Office, which I've seen every episode of The Office at least 10 times. But still, it was the episode where Michael and Holly have sex for the first time in the stairwell. And then The Office gets broken into. So there we go. And they stole Kevin's surge protectors. And it's terrible because now he's prone to surges. So there's that. So listen, Carolina, I feel like Carolina is pretty much like, fuck that, I've moved on from him. She really was like, I need him to take accountability. I'm going to put an eye on him. And it seemed like Rose and Grant were cool and everything was ironed out. But Carolina was still like, but you gotta take accountability. And he's like, we're cool. And she's like, but I'm not. And that's it. Okay. Here's three things. Number one, make this 1 hour. This did not need to be a whole hour. Number two, they only mentioned, I thought that they were going to maybe say like who is going to be on the next season of Bachelor in Paradise. They made no mention of that. They just mentioned who's ready for Bachelor in Paradise. Everybody's like, woo, including me. I was like, yeah. What time is it? Oh my gosh, it's almost time for Beverly Hills. And I was like, me, this girl, getting ready. Nope, they didn't announce. They're going to make announcements. And I was expecting, listen, the favorite of the season, in the very first episode, Alicia, he had like a super great connection with her and everything. And then she's gone in the second week. And she had said on social media, don't worry, I'll be telling what happened on the Women Tell All. She didn't talk once. She didn't spill no tea. Nothing. You didn't even talk. They didn't even talk to her. I mean, the only reason you knew she was there was because they announced her in the beginning. So what was going on with that? Okay. So next week they're doing I'm gonna burp. There we go. Just for me. They're going to be doing fantasy suites. I'm going to tell you this right now. Zoe's going to get eliminated next week. This is what I'm predicting. Zoe's going to get eliminated next week. And then it's going to come down to Latia and Juliana. And the problem, as you know, it sounds like the problem with Latia is that, is the whole, like, getting intimate with other women in the fantasy suite. So I've been hearing listen, I'm not going to put a spoiler out there as to who wins. I'm not going to say, but I will just say, last night during the Women Tell All, he didn't look, I don't know if he didn't look happy. Like, he didn't look like a man who's like happily engaged. I'm just saying, he didn't look happy. Maybe it was because of the fact that there was so much like yelling and there was so much tension between the women and certain women and him. Maybe that was it, but he just, like, when they were talking about, you have to watch next week and then you watch the finale. Honestly, he didn't look happy. He didn't look like he could hide that. So I'm just saying. So in the comments, let me know what you thought. If nobody told you yet today, you're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world so it comes right back at you. Please take care of one another. Please be aware of your surroundings. Why does it look like I self-tanned my hand? I didn't. Why is one hand darker than the other? What is that? Gosh. One hand looks like a lobster, the other doesn't. What is that? That's weird. That's weirdy. Okay, where did I stop? Be aware of your surroundings. Be smart and safe. Hydrate often with water, as I did today. And always be aware. Always, if you are in a dangerous situation, know that Dolly and I are sending our love, thoughts, prayers, and positive energy your way so you can make it through. Everybody have a great day, a great evening. Oh, it's 7:58. It's almost time for Beverly Hills. Okay, so I will see you guys tomorrow with a wrap up of Beverly Hills. Have a great night. Love you. I'll see you tomorrow.